Hello and welcome to hearing some sharings from the heart. And the reason why I'm saying this is because what I'm going to share with you is an experience that I had more or less 30 years back. And it was my first meeting with the divine, with God. And of course, as we all know, words are associated in a different way for each one of us, and experiences are more accurate way of communicating, and that's why at some point through our communication we're going to have some practice to share this experience that I will try first to communicate it with you through words and through technology. But we all understand that beyond the means of technology there is another level of communicating. So, 30 years back, I was sitting in my room and I was reading an extract from Plato that was saying that truth is what does not change. What is true, it is always the same, never changes. And then another extract from another spiritual book that was saying that God is the truth, God is the light of love. And before that morning, that has been a turning point in my life, my understanding of God was minimum and my interest not that big. I guess one average person that is looking for some higher purpose for life and some values, some qualities, mainly in human relationships. And because what we all experience as direct experience, daily experience in our life, what is obvious to us is this physical world. I was trying to find answers or higher purpose for my life or some kind of God in this level, in the physical level, mostly in human relationships, and qualities, values in human relationships. And one aspect that was very important in this, in human relationships, has always been loyalty and permanence in the feelings, in the sense it was very easily seen in relationships that with some kind of misunderstanding the feelings in relationships easily changed. So I was trying to find a way to maintain always this kind of loyalty where no matter what happens the feelings are always the same and trivial small things do not interfere with the feelings in relationships. And I'm sure all of us, whether we have been looking for God or some kind of God, we all in fact look for God's qualities. And that morning, as I was reading this text, these aspects of truth, very gradually and gently, I started feeling myself as somehow separate from this physical form, from the body. I was still aware of my room, but the physical space was in the backdrop. And there was a very gentle realization that I was my thoughts, that the body was just an instrument. Nobody had ever told me this before, or if I had heard this before, probably I hadn't given it enough attention. But those moments, there was this feeling that I am somewhere within my head, and I was able for the first time to start observing my thoughts. But it didn't take long until I started feeling a presence in, I would say, in the room, but it was not in the room. It was in a subtle level. And I started feeling as if there was a source of light. But this light was not physical light. I say light, but maybe this is the closest we can use from this physical world to describe a light that is beyond this physical world. And this light was living, conscious, as if it was someone in front of me. And this someone was communicating with me at the level of thoughts. I was experiencing myself as a source of thoughts, and at the same time, I was experiencing this source that was like star or like the sun, but the rays of light that I was receiving were conveying feelings. And in the presence of this being, I felt so well understood, as if I knew this being forever, but I had forgotten this being. And the experience, the insight that I was getting in front of the presence of this light was of security, love, and at the same time, while the two of us, I, but not anymore the physical form, but a source of light myself, a source of life, a source of thoughts, that those moments were very few. The mind was quiet. And the other source, the other being of light, both of us were in a dimension of silence. And from that space, I was able to feel planet Earth and the whole physical world as a spinning, a turning drama. It is as if I was in front of a drama. Planet Earth appeared as a distant stage, and everything in that stage seemed so small and kind of insignificant. What mattered was that presence and the feelings that I could say for myself, I cannot imagine higher feelings than those. Feeling of security, subtle happiness, understood, love, eternity. And not sure how long that experience lasted, but after I became aware again of the physical environment, my room, and the physical world, it was all the time there, but not as important. But when I started coming back in the awareness of this world, I was never the same. I'm sure that no human being can ever be the same after having experienced the presence of someone who is perfect. Perfection not as an idea, but perfection in terms of the feelings that this being transmitting towards me. And before that experience, I was looking for answers, as I mentioned before, in relationships and in this physical life. And this was including studies of philosophy, but with all my respect to philosophy and Greek philosophers, I never found answers that were thorough, but definitely answers that would touch the heart to the level that happened that morning. And the journey started. And that was a glimpse of what had always been there. This being is eternal, but somehow all of us, to one extent or the other, we have forgotten the existence of this being. So that morning I had the glimpse, and then after 2 weeks, when the power of that experience started fading away, I knew that this was happening for a good reason. And the reason was for me to learn how to be the master of this experience and to be able to have this connection with this being when I would choose and not being at the mercy of some lack, because I didn't know why I had that experience at that moment. It is as if someone gave it to me as a gift, but I now knew that this could be under my control in a way. And I understand many years later that this being that I would like to see as a perfect companion, as a perfect friend, as someone who is perfect in all relationships. This one is the one who never forgets the full picture, is the one who knows the subtle invisible reality beyond this physical world, and not only knows this reality but lives in this world. And he knows our journey. He knows us as we were when we were with him or her at this level of the invisible reality. He knows us and our journey when we come on this drama of life and how gradually we forget. And at some point, the right time for everyone, there is an awakening. And this awakening can have different forms. For me was in this way, but it can be a book, it can be a friend that shares something that reminds us, or a session, or our own efforts of seeking that at some point make us realize deeper experiences. So I would like us to experiment with the feelings that I described to you. And if one person, one human being can experience these qualities, then this would mean that it is in the potential of all human beings. And in the last 30 years, I have been on this journey of mastering the mind so that the self is able to live in more silence, and in this silence feel the presence of the divine, the presence of the supreme being, the director of this drama called life. So let us experiment now a few moments of silence. As we sit quietly, we realize that our mind has been scattered, has been busy with thoughts about this physical world, thoughts about other people, situations, past, future, actions. But with this quietness in the mind that we create now, we realize that there is another world, an invisible world, the world of thoughts, of feelings. And we choose our thoughts instead of thoughts about the physical world, thoughts about the self. We understand that we are the source of the thoughts. As subtle as the thoughts, as invisible as the thoughts, like a star, a silent, quiet star. And within this silent space, silent mind, we feel the presence of another being of light that is as silent and as real as we are. We, the beings of light. And we feel this being right in front of us, at the subtle invisible level, beyond the physical world. We feel this being as an ocean. right in front of us, there is an ocean of light. But this light is the light of love, the light of happiness. There is nowhere else that we would like to be, we the beings of light, except in front of the ocean that can feel our heart and respond in a perfect way. This is a meeting of hearts, of feelings, the deepest feelings of our heart, being felt by the heart of the Supreme. And as we come back, we carry this experience. We know that there is always this invisible, perfect one as a perfect companion, the companion of the true self.
A question from Christine. How did your life change once you had this awareness?
I think we would all agree that we all look for the same treasures, the treasure of love and happiness. And when you experience them in the ultimate, in the highest level, and you know where they come from, when we realize that there is a source to these qualities, unconditional upon anything else, then the only thing you want is how to be connected with this source. And so, since then, there have been quite a few changes that felt very natural and very easy. For example, creating time as often as possible, and definitely at least on a daily basis, and especially early in the morning before the day starts. And these early morning hours are very sweet. One can connect better with the Supreme. So this has become a very sweet habit, waking up earlier than usual, early in the morning, and making sure that there is a sharing from the heart with the Supreme, knowing that during the day there are so many distractions, so many demands from life, and also understanding the mind, how human mind now is so easily distracted. So with these factors, one has to make sure that is able to have proper attention and concentration while these distractions are there to this invisible one. So one change is waking up in the morning, and there are some other small habits like the food, taking care of the food, not eating meat, or of course, if you experience these qualities, naturally you want to share with others. So the life is not as self centered, ego centered as it was before. Because if one knows God, knows love, you can't but want others to know Him, you want others to feel good. So the life is more a life of service than wanting to take pleasures, because the pleasure is already there. You don't need to look in the world. You don't make relationships, or you don't go trips to take something, but whatever you do is more for serving others. These are some small changes, but a few others.
Another question from Sue. How have you sustained these happy feelings?
By deepening the spiritual understanding, by exposing the self to knowledge and going deeper into this knowledge, and also by being reminded, because at some point you have heard the knowledge, spiritual knowledge, the main aspects, but then we need reminders. So one is by knowledge in this way, exposing the self to knowledge on a regular basis, and the other is practicing, practicing happiness, practicing the feelings that are of value. If we want to feel happy, if we start emerging the happiness that we have already experienced, then it becomes present now, and then it's easier next time to experience it again. So we are very good at becoming angry and at becoming to have fear or stress, because this is what we repeat all the time. We don't call it practice, but anything that we repeat consciously or unconsciously, it's like we're practicing it. So if I want to experience happiness, if I want to deepen my relationship with God, then I have to practice this. So, knowledge and practice. Thank you.